Get ready to live fearlessly free with Heather Bunch.
Do you often find yourself replaying scenarios of failure rather than actually imagining your success? Are you tired of feeling like fear is hijacking your dreams even before you have gotten started? What if I told you your imagination holds the secret to the breakthrough you have been longing for, my friend? Welcome to Live Fearlessly Free podcast. I'm your courageous coach, Heather Bunch, and I am here to help Christian women entrepreneurs like you go from feeling stuck, not enough, and fearful to taking focused, confident, and courageous action. We are literally growing ourselves so we can grow our business. Now, today we are kicking off secret number 3. That's right. 1, 2, 3. Secret number 3 of our Courageous Life series. This is our last secret that we are going to dive into. So far, we've explored secret number 1, and that is to delight in an intimate relationship with your Heavenly Father. This literally is the foundation of it all. Understanding how loved we are and to be able to work through grace instead of just grinding it out. Secret number 2 was to discover your true identity. It's really embracing who God created us to be, stripping off all the crud that we have mistakenly believed was actually ourselves, but in reality was these masks we put on ourselves to keep ourselves safe. But stripping those things off and really discovering and seeing ourselves for who God created us to be and fully stepping into that, because that is where the power is at, my friend. Because God has made each of us so unique, and each of us needs all of us, and all of us needs each of us in order to live this courageous life. So we're going to be diving into secret number 3, and that is we are going to direct our imagination. Why? Because when you are living your courageous life, when you are stepping into who God has created you to be, we're doing these courageous exploits, we're living a life beyond our comfort zone, what's going to come up? Yeah, fear, right? Fear comes up, and fear tries to stop us. Fear's whole job is to try to keep us safe and push us back into our comfort zone. So we have got to take our most powerful tool that God has given us and use that to direct our future. And that is our mind, my friend. So we are going to dig into our imagination. And we're going to talk about powerful tools, how it literally shapes our reality. We're going to learn how to shift our mindset, and we're going to overcome fear with courage. We're going to unpack that over the next 3 episodes, my friend. So today's going to be for you if you're tired of your imagination working against you rather than for you. And if you desire to harness the God-given power of your thoughts to unlock bigger possibilities, I have got you covered, my friend. And if you're ready to turn your imagination into courageous action, this is your day. Now, fear has been my biggest obstacle, and I think it's really most people's biggest obstacle, but fear really shows up in different ways. For me, fear was retreating. We can fight it out, we can flight, or we can freeze. And my biggest fear response was freezing. It was somewhere between, like, I know what I should do, but I'm too afraid to do it. I know what I should do, but I'm too afraid to do it. And so it took me forever to finally start, like, stepping out of my comfort zone, doing the thing God had created and designed me to do. And so for me, fear really became at its strongest when I stepped out into life coaching. Now, I know if any of you have been following this podcast or YouTube, you have heard my story of my first networking event, right? I'm like, okay, so, I've got a new client. but I only know so many. And so I need to go networking because, people know people. And so I knew that was a great way to try to get new clients. My husband was actually a master networker. In 2018, he won an award, the top 100 St. Louisans to know. And he actually thought it was a joke when they told him he got the award. He's like, that's real? And it was real. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring my husband with me. He'll be like my prom date. He's going to walk me around, introduce me to people because he knows everybody. So I'm like, I got this covered. This is great. It's a little scary because I've never done it before. New things are scary for Heather. I struggle with new things. Just gonna say. And some people attack new things boldly. I'm cautious about it. I'm optimistically cautious because I get concerned, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to do it right. I'm going to look stupid while I'm failing. Anybody ever experienced that before? So I get up in the morning and I'm excited. And one of the reasons I was really excited because after the networking event, my reward was Bob and I were going to do a video shoot for a class I was teaching at church called The Joy-Filled Life, teaching to a bunch of ladies about our thought life, which was so appropriate. And I love shooting video. That is not something I'm afraid of. I love being on camera. And who would have thought? Okay. But networking, whew, that was new. So I get up, I'm getting ready. It's 5 a.m. I'm, brush my teeth. That's the first thing I do when I get up. And then I start thinking, you know what? I don't know my elevator pitch. How do I word that? How do I tell them what I do? I haven't really honed in my niche market, right? I don't know my offer. I have a discovery session thing that I do, but I don't have it, worded real tight. How do you get somebody from I'm talking to them and then I'm gonna, hey, do you want to do a discovery call with me? Hi, I'm Heather Bunch. I'm, new courageous. I wasn't the courageous coach at that point. I'm a new coach with no experience. Do you want to hire me? And so I'm just freaking out. These questions are going through my head. Have you ever done that? When you get worried and then the questions start flagging. What if this happens? What if that happens? And if this happens, then that'll happen, then that'll happen, then this will happen, right? The whole rabbit trails. Anybody besides me done that? Yeah, that's what happens when we get anxious and we get worried. Okay. Fear is really this mix of anxiety and uncertainty mixed together. Anxiety and uncertainty had a baby and it was called fear. And that is what was going on in my mind. And because fear starts here, it starts in our thoughts. It's our imagination going haywire in all the different directions. And so here I am going, well, I don't remember that frog thing. Bob was teaching me about frog. It's is it family and friends? No, it can't be relationships. I don't remember what the R stands for. What was the, occupation. I think it was occupation, the G. I don't need, is it golf? I don't know. And as these questions were going, my cheeks started to get hot. Okay. So I started having a bodily response. My cheeks were getting hot. It was the Clue movie where Mrs. White is there were flames on the side of my face, heaving, breathing breath. That's what was going on. And then my ears started to get hot. And then I started to get foggy. I couldn't think clearly. And I was getting worried about that. I was am I okay? And then my whole body started getting hot and I started stripping off my sweatshirt. I'm what is going on? Am I sick? Maybe I'm sick. Maybe I shouldn't go to this thing. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, bam, down I went. I fainted. I fainted before my first networking event. Why? What happened in that moment? My imagination had run away with me. It had come up with all worst case scenarios. And I had no control over it at that point. Like, it literally said, Heather, we're going to go down this rabbit hole, and I am taking you with me. And that's what happened. And so I got sick. When I woke up, my husband finds me on the floor. He heard the thump, and I go to bed. I missed the networking event. And not only did I miss the networking event, I missed the video shoot. So in that moment, not only did fear stop me from stretching out of my comfort zone and doing that new thing and going networking and learning how to expand my business, it also kept me from this other thing that I really wanted as well. And that was to do this video shoot so I could teach this class. I was making these fun video elements. So part of it was live, part of it was on video. And I totally missed out on that. And so when that happened, I had to take a hard look and go, okay, look, I've been in fear before, and it's kept me from a lot of things. But this one's new. I had not experienced fainting from fear. Now, I've fainted before several times throughout my life, and usually it was when I got overheated. But this one was new. And so I really started to dig into what is going on. Because after I had that initial faint, I started fainting every month or two for more than a year. And I started pulling back, and I started playing small. And listen, I was tired of playing small because I had played small for decades. And so as I dug in and found what is this connection between this fear, my fear and my fainting, this bodily response, right, to fear, like, how do I deal with that? How do I overcome that? One, how do I even show that there is a connection between my fear and my fainting? Because many people were like, oh, you should go to the doctor. And I was like, no, I really know, like, I knew in my gut that there was this connection. And I was going to find it out because I was tired of playing small. And in this, I came up with, like, there's so much science and research and things that even God says on our imagination. And so over the next 3 episodes, we're going to unpack this because fear is the biggest obstacle that you have to keeping you from your courageous life. But God has given us the biggest, most powerful tool imaginable, and that's our imagination. And in the moment I was fainting, that was my imagination working against me. But what if I could take that same power that would literally cause me to faint and use it to work for me? Use it to push myself out of my comfort zone. Use it to do new things, to stretch myself, to grow the business, to live the dreams that God put in my heart. What if I can get it working for me? We can. And I am going to show you how. Your imagination, let me define it. Your imagination is your mind's incredible ability to create images, ideas, scenarios, possibilities that aren't actually present to our senses. Like, they aren't even real yet, but man, they feel real. That is our imagination. And it reminds me of Hebrews 11:1 that tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. We cannot see these images, these scenarios, these ideas yet that our imagination is coming up with. But that doesn't mean they won't come to pass. Our imagination is literally seeing them before they come to pass. And when our imagination is working against us, it's literally taking our fears and our worries and anxiety and creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was freaking out about this networking event thinking, I don't think I can do this. I don't know if it's possible. Well, guess what happened? I fainted, and then I didn't have to do it. My imagination made that reality of, Heather, you're not capable of doing this, a reality. But we don't want to stay there. We want to get our imagination working for us. You see, even neuroscience confirms that our imagination is not just wishful thinking. Our mind is literally a powerful cognitive tool. The brain doesn't always distinguish these vivid imagination experiences from the real ones, meaning our imagination can powerfully affect our emotions, it affects our actions, and even our physical health, just like I demonstrated with my fainting, right? Now, God talks about this himself. He knows the power of imagination because he gave it to us. Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, this is highlighting that transformation of our lives begins with our thoughts and our imagination. It literally all starts here in our head. Proverbs 23:7 reminds us, for as he thinks within himself, so is he or she. It's demonstrating how deeply our inner image shapes our identity and our outcomes. I didn't think I could do it and wasn't capable. Boom, outcome, couldn't do it. When imagination is fueling worry, anxiety, fear, because of all this uncertainty, because we don't know what's going on, it's actively working against ourselves. It is making us so we cannot generate courage. And what it does is it's limiting our growth, and it's just limiting our joy and our ability to enjoy life and people and relationships. Fear is just freaking getting in the way, and we need to get rid of it. Now, we can't fully get rid of it. However, well, you don't really have fear if you're not doing a lot of things. But if you want to live the courageous life that God's called you to, you're always going to have some level of fear. So what we have to do is we have to intentionally direct our imagination towards God's promises, God's truth of the dreams and the things that God has put in our heart. And that becomes our greatest ally. It empowers us to live courageously, confidently, and creatively. So let's talk about 3 ways to get our imagination working for us instead of against us. Number 1, awareness first. We have got to identify imagination patterns. You cannot fix what you don't even know is an issue. So many times, fear comes up, anxiety comes up, and because sometimes it shows up in like even those physical forms, like I was explaining with my fainting. Some people get tension headaches. Anybody ever experienced tension headaches, right? Fogginess, any kind of pains in your body, your gut hurts, maybe your heart palpitates, right? We can just chalk that up to, I'm just not feeling well, and not realizing what's behind the problem. Now, I'm not saying every physical ailment is fear in disguise, but many times it is, especially when we know we're pushing out of our comfort zone to do something that's hard and scary. So we have got to identify imagination patterns. We need to begin to notice whether your imagination is leaning towards fear or it's leaning to faith. Is it leaning to worst case scenarios, or is it going to hopeful outcomes? Which way is your imagination leaning in any given situation? We need to start to identify that. We need to realize what is going on. 2 Corinthians 10:5, we are destroying speculations and every lofty thing that raised up against the knowledge of God, And we are taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. That's the goal, to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Is my thought fear? And if it's not, we need to take it captive and bring it to that faith, that obedience to Christ, to the promises of God, to rest in God. Fear to faith. That is where we got to take it. And see, science is even discovering what God's already told us all along. If we are in frequent negative visualization patterns, okay? So we're anxious all the time. We're always thinking about worst case scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? Okay. My husband didn't call me right away. Oh my God, he must be in a car accident, right? We're visualizing this negative thing. What it does, it's actually priming our brain for anxiety. It's causing stress responses. Stress responses are those physiological bodily responses. Our body actually goes into all kinds of things. You know, we can, the heart starts beating faster. The saliva can stop. Our eyes will actually start to dilate and focus in. Like, our body does all kinds of things when it's in a state of fear. And we can have all that happen even before the real threat appears, if it ever does. I love the Mark Twain quote. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which have never happened. Isn't that the truth? Most of what I have feared has never happened. How about you? Have you ever experienced anxiety while you're anticipating failure before an important client call? Like, you're literally thinking about, I'm going to call this client and it's going to fail. It's all going to go wrong. It's all going to go to hell in a handbasket. And what happens? You start to feel nervous and stressed instead of confident and prepared. You haven't even had the call yet with the client. You don't even know what's going to happen. They could say yes, they could say no, but you don't even know. And yet, just us visualizing the failure that's going to happen, it literally is priming our brain for our imagination to work against us. We got to turn that around. We need to become aware. So I want you to start noticing the patterns of anxiety and fear and uncertainty that begin to come up. Is it fear or is it faith? Number 2 is this: intentional focus. We have got to visualize a desired outcome. We got to clearly visualize a desired outcome. When you clearly visualize what you want, what you desire in your life and in your business, it begins to change what's actually happening. Why? Because you get more of what you focus on. Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. If I am focused on the negative, on the what ifs of that, is if this could fail, I could look stupid, like whatever the scenarios, somebody's going to get hurt, I'm going to die early, like whatever that negative focus is, that's where our energy is going to go. And when our energy is focused on the negative, we don't have energy to work toward the positive and what God has called us to do. But we can reverse that. And when we focus on the good things, Philippians 4:8, finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report, if there is anything excellent or praiseworthy, dwell on these things. Think on these things. Paul, in this scripture, is telling us exactly where we need to focus. And that is where the energy will flow. That is where our imagination will take us. It will take us to more loveliness and more things that are right and more things that are good and more success and more good things. Okay? Science actually has revealed positive visualization enhances our motivation. It actually reduces our stress and increases our likelihood of achieving goals. It's literally because we're focusing in the right direction, the energy is going in that direction. Our body is aligning with that imagery, those scenarios that are going to bring us the courageous life. Think about Olympic athletes. Before the big event, and many times you'll see them pause, they close their eyes, they're vividly imagining themselves, they're up at the top of the ski slope and they're picturing that perfect slalom as they're going down, right? That flawless performance. And you know what? They're doing it just right before the event. They are doing it daily before the event. Our mind is powerful, and they are intentionally rehearsing success in their minds, creating these mental pathways for confidence and clarity. Now, I want to caveat this with, I don't think we need to actually think through, it's only roses and rainbows. Because you know what? That's not real life. Like, crap happens, right? Crap hits the fan sometimes. Things happen. So I think there's actually value in maybe imagining, like, okay, what are some worst case scenarios? And maybe plot out a plan for that. If this happens, then this, and if this happens, then that. The problem comes is when we always do that, and we're not putting some kind of plan in place to help with it. So it's not productive when we think on those negative things all the time. There's nothing wrong with going, and actually it can be very powerful with, like, you know what? If I get on a call or I'm speaking and the worst thing happens to me and I forget what I'm going to say, how am I going to get out of that? What am I going to do? Like, have a plan in place. I mean, one of the plans with speakers, you could just say, hey, I totally forgot what was the last thing I said? Dude in your audience will tell you. And you can go, oh, right. Pick it right back up, right? Knowing what you would do in a scenario like that is extremely helpful. But we don't want to just stay there. We want to continue that process of thinking through what are the lovely and pure and things that are of good report and right and are honorable and praiseworthy. Dwell on these things. That is where the power lies, my friends. So intentional focus. We have got to visualize desired outcomes and visualize them clearly in your mind. Focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. Number 3 is this: imagination as prayer. Use imagination as prayer. Partner with God through your thoughts. Use your imagination as a spiritual tool, picturing God's promises coming true, and use them as prayer. Use them as thanksgiving. Ephesians 3:20 reminds us, now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all we can ask or think, according to the power that works in us. It's God working in us to fulfill what he's called us to do. But we have got to partner with him. And so we can partner with him. One of the ways is through our imagination and literally using it as prayer and connection with God. Spiritual and hopeful visualization actually strengthens our neural pathways, increasing our emotional resilience and overall well-being. Think of it this way. Have you ever prayed for something that it was deeply important to you? Maybe it was restoration of a relationship. Maybe it was a breakthrough in your business of some kind, or a healing in your body. And you found yourself picturing the desired results. You actually could see it in your mind's eye. When you're doing this, you are intentionally imagining God's promises being fulfilled. And you're actually partnering with him And that's prayer, my friends. You are creating a powerful alignment between your thoughts and your faith and his divine power that is at work within you. Remember what Ephesians said, according to the power that works in us. We are not victims of our thoughts. We get to choose our thoughts. We're going to go into that more into the next one. I'm going to give you a powerful framework to help with that. But I want to challenge you to use your imagination more as prayer, as partnering with God, getting your imagination to work for you instead of against you. Let's recap. Number one, how are we going to direct our imagination to work for us instead of against us? Number one, first we need to be aware. Awareness first. Your imagination significantly shapes your life. We've got to be aware. Are we focusing on fear or faith? Once you're aware, now you can do something about it. And the second thing we're going to do is this. We're going to have intentional focus. We're going to focus on what we want instead of what we don't want. True transformation begins with renewing our mind, renewing our imagination. Romans 12:2 reminds us of that. Now, again, as a reminder, focusing on the good, you can still think about what are some worst case scenarios and have some plan Bs. But we don't stay there. We continue to focus on where do we want to go? What do we actually want in life? Where focus goes, energy flows, Tony Robbins reminds us. Number 3 is this: use your imagination as prayer. Partner with God using your imagination, my friend. Remember, he is able to do far more than we ask or think, according to the power that is working in us. Directing our imagination towards God's truth, replacing that fear with courage and clarity. All right, courageous action steps, my friend, because we are not just hearers of the word, we are doers of the word. Faith without works is dead, my friend. And so let's do some stuff to direct our imagination to work for us. So what I want you to do is I want you to do an imagination audit. Okay? Step 1, set a timer for 5 minutes. I want you to list every area of fear, of doubt that is dominating your thought life, that is dominating your imagination. Where are you focused? Okay? Spend 5 minutes writing that down. Step 2, write down scriptures, promises from God that directly speak to where you're worried, where you're concerned from your step 1. Okay? So write down scriptures. This allows you to align yourself with God and faith. Step 3 is this. I want you to choose one fear that you're going to actively replace today. And I want you to do it by vividly imagining the truth that God speaks over you. Like, I would just put a timer on for like 2 minutes and just visualize and just think through this scenario you're worried about and just see God bringing it to pass. Now, is he going to bring it to pass in exactly the way that you visualized? Probably not, because God's really good at, doing things and surprising us. But the point is this. It's not the how is God going to do it. It's the God is going to do it. So focusing your imagination on God helping to fulfill that dream and that desire, going from fear to faith. All right? Now, in the next episode, we are going to dive deeper into shifting our mindset, because everything starts with our thoughts. And we are going to use a powerful tool called the Philippians 4:8 framework. And I am going to show you how to practically retrain your imagination and renew your mind so you can do it daily and you can experience more joy and flow in your life as you are stepping and walking into your courageous life. Now, if you want to dig more deeply into this topic, you can go get my book, Hello Courageous, at hellocourageous.com. Head over there. You can get your own copy. You can also get a copy on Amazon if you like. And if you are an entrepreneur, Christian woman entrepreneur, and you're like, you know what? I like the topics. These are great, but like I struggle doing all of this by myself. Like I need someone to be like the guide on the side to come alongside me. I don't want to do this alone. If you need a community of people that can come alongside you, I want to offer the Courageous Club to you. The Courageous Club is our monthly coaching membership that will allow you to go from faith to fear, that will get you taking focused, confident, and courageous action and not doing it alone. Doors are open right now, only until April 30th. So if you are interested or you just want some more details, you can find out more at courageous.club. Courageous.club. Head over there and you can find out more how you can join the Courageous Club and you can become a couragepreneur. That is an entrepreneur with courage, my friend. You have got this, my friend, and Father's got you. I just want to thank you a bunch for listening or for watching. And until next time, live fearlessly free.